Welcome to the Upside Podcast, powered by Upside Global and hosted by Julian Blinn, founder and CEO of Upside Global. The Upside Podcast is listened to weekly by over 6,000 sports and tech executives from all sports leagues and teams in the United States and around the world. Julian has been developing technologies for professional sports teams for over 10 years and has worked for major tech companies along with sports tech startups. In each episode, Julian interviews global leaders in sports to share knowledge on emerging technology in the sports industry and how these technologies can help improve the performance of individuals and organizations, both on and off the playing field. And now here's your host, Julian Blinn.
So today we have the honor of interviewing Mark Strickland, a former NBA player, played for Miami Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, and other teams. He's now a coach and founder of the Pogoman's pop-up clinic. So Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Mark, it's great to have you on the show. So could you start by telling us about your background? So let me start this by saying that you had a professional career spanning from 1992 to 2006, including an important 4-year stretch with the Miami Heat from 1996 to 2000. So could you share a key highlights or defining moment from your time playing power forward, small forward in the NBA, and what made the Miami Heat organization a significant part of your career?
Highlight, all of it was a highlight, man, because the making the Miami Heat team was the highlight because I came down here on a 1-day trial.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come because I was having a frustrating summer that summer. I played in the USBL. We went to the championship game, and we lost that. Came in second place, so that was a bummer. Then I went to New Jersey for about a month in the summer. So played in the summer league with them, played very well, and then they wanted to go with a veteran guy. Went to Portland for a week, played very well for them. Then they wanted to go with a younger guy. So then all of a sudden I was at home, and then I got a call saying that the Miami Heat wanted to see me for a 1-day tryout, and then 1 day turned into 2 days. 2 days turned into 3 days, and then they sent me home. So I thought it was over, but I didn't know it was
Oh, really?
Labor Day. It was Labor Day weekend, so they didn't want any players down here while everybody was gone for the 3-4 day holiday. So I didn't know that. Then all of a sudden, I got a call from my agent that Monday saying, "Hey, they want you back." And then I've been here ever since. So that was one of the biggest highlights. Just the way I made the Miami Heat team coming on a 1-day trial, and then spending 4 seasons there, and and now I still live here and have businesses here. So that was the most exciting part of it, the journey that I took to get to the NBA.
So I've heard there's 2 things. One, that you did not play for 6 months. I think you said you were staying at your mother's house, and she had saying, "You got to go. You got to do something."
Yeah.
The second part was that Pat Riley in the training facility had this board, like you could check out all the performance of all the players, who was the highest performer. And I think when you saw that board and said, "You know what, I'm gonna work so hard to be the best I can be," is that a true story?
Yeah, I was sitting, but the part where I was sitting at home, my mom, this was after college. After college, I went everywhere I went, I got cut. I went to Atlanta Hawks, got cut. I went to France, got cut. I went to the CBA, got cut. I went to Spain and got cut. So I was just kind of sitting around trying to figure. I thought I was going to go into coaching early. But when my mother called Coach Chaney, he told me to come back to school. I started back working out. And then I got the itch, and then I started playing again and got some opportunities in the USBL and the CBA, and then it led up to that 1-day trial. But when I got to Miami, funny story is my high school coach played on the same team as Pat Riley. So for years, he had that team photo with Will Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Pat Riley was on the team picture. So I was looking at his face my whole high school career. So when I came here, man, I kind of knew of him and knew who he was. He knew who my high school coach was. So that kind of broke the ice after the first workout. But then I started noticing they were keeping charts on everything. The number of dunks in 1 minute, I got that record. The sprints that we did on the football field, I got that record. The 17 record, I think I had it for years. Somebody else broke that record. But I wanted to have my name on all of the records. So that you're trying to figure out ways to stand out. That's what I was trying to do because I was coming in at the bottom. I had a couple of free agents ahead of me. A guy that Pat Riley really loved that he brought to camp every year, and then I had a couple of draft picks as well in
Hmm.
front of me. So I was maybe like 5 on the depth chart when I first got here. So I was like, okay, what is it that I can do to stand out every day? So I knew nobody on that team was faster than me.
Yep.
Nobody on that team could jump higher than me, and nobody was going to outwork me. So
Yep.
those are the things I brought to the table every day. So every drill, I was trying to be first. Every time we had any type of challenge as far as dunks in 1 minute, sometimes I think we did dunks in 30 seconds. I got that record as well. So I was trying to, find ways to stand out so that, I would always be seen.
Well, one thing I noticed with the Miami Heat over the years, they have not a tradition, but they're not afraid of taking undrafted NBA players, and they literally
Yeah.
found like there was two guys who played for the Miami Heat. I forgot. I think they ended up really taking off with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Two guys recently. One went to the Cavs. The other one went to the Lakers. And
Yeah.
yep. So
Yeah,
I
they
was
do a good job at that. Yeah, they do a very good job at bringing a lot of players in over the summertime and looking at undrafted free agents. I was one.
yep.
So Udonis Haslam was one. He wasn't drafted. They brought him in the same kind of way. There's a number of players. The twins, one of the twins, I think he's in Philly right now. He was another undrafted free agent. So they do a very good job at scouting and finding those hidden gems, and bringing them in and develop them. Here, I think Miami Heat has the best as far as being in shape, development, weight, and body fat. That's why they
Yep.
call it the Heat culture is different from everywhere else. They hold you accountable for everything. So being on time, you have a rule book about this stick with all the rules. So it's
Uh,
kind of you have to be very disciplined to play here. So yeah, it was great for me, great for my career, and actually when you play for the Heat, and because I was here so long, you kind of take those same kind of characteristics
yep.
and those initiatives and you put them towards your real life. So
Yep.
it was a great thing. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
Now you talk about you thought you were going to be a coach earlier, right? So
Yeah.
after your long playing career, you transitioned to coaching, including serving as the head coach for the Oshawa Power, I think in the
Mhm.
National Basketball League of Canada.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge for shifting your mindset from that of an NBA player to a head coach and whose coaching philosophy, such as Pat Riley, George Carr, or Larry Brown, whom you train with, most
Yeah.
influence your own approach to player development?
I took little bits and pieces from everybody, but I think before I took the job in Oshawa, I had a meeting with Pat Riley. You can always,
Yeah,
it's the great thing about the Heat organization, they're always accessible to you, especially, when one of their players, and I was here for a long time. I still have a relationship with him, and I also do the junior Heat basketball accounts. So I kind of went to him and had a couple of meetings with him. He told me what to look for in the draft, kind of told me, and I kind of picked little bits and pieces from Larry Brown, little bits and pieces from Coach Chaney, and a lot from Pat Riley, because it was
yep,
professional basketball. So I know he knew what to pick, what type of wings he looked for. He told me to look for long, athletic wings, make sure I had a good center, made sure I had a good point guard. So I
yep,
kind of went off that formula. Wasn't that hard going into coaching. For me, it got kind of difficult once I got to it was the D League then. It's the G League now, but it was the
yep,
D League then. I just didn't like how I was treated. I felt like I was a former NBA player. I should have been treated a little bit different up in
yep.
Bakersfield. So that's what made me venture out into doing training,
Hmm.
doing consulting work, like I do with Hoop Dreams. I kind of, help them out and do the mental part of the game, as well as the conditioning. And now I got into doing some development, which
Yep,
led me to doing the Pogoman pop-up clinics
yep,
because what I'm doing with that is I wanted to make it free. I see all these trainers and all these people, man, charging these kids. I know my parents didn't have six, seven, $800 a week for me to
AU
train.
coaches. Yes.
Yeah, you can't. They didn't have it. So all I did was go up and play ball on my own. So I figured out a way to play chess, and not checkers. And I
Mhm.
figured out how to go to I got a lot of great sponsors, and
Yep.
got some grants, and was able
Mhm.
to get up the money through these companies and through grants, and now I can have the kids come for free, and they can get quality training for free, which is the same concept as Sports Ed TV, and the same concept as the
Yep.
school. I do Day Prep Academy. We have two now, one in Cutler Bay, one in Florida City, and we take the bottom 10% out of our public schools, and we give them opportunity to get their credits up and get their high school
Mhm.
diploma. So I think,
That's great.
and it's for free, and it's free. So we do it through school choice vouchers, of course, through the government,
Mhm.
and then step up for kids also. So everything I try to do, I try to make it free for the kids, make it so we can get as many kids as we can to come in and get that quality training.
All power to you for doing that. So we'll get back into that in the next question. But before
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get to that, so you were, like, as mentioned, right? As we talk about undrafted
mm,
player who forged an 8-year career in the NBA. That's not small. It's actually quite long.
yeah.
And you played
Did not.
internationally, right? It is not. Right? It is
Yeah, it's
now.
not. I did not. Yeah, I did not. They always some articles say I did 8 years, some articles say I did 9 years, but I did 9. Yeah,
Yeah, 9 years. Sorry. And you play also
yeah, no problem.
internationally. I think you mentioned France, China, and other countries
Yeah.
for several reasons. But what entrepreneurial or business skills like persistence, self-management, or resilience do you have to develop to succeed in the demanding world of professional basketball? And how do you apply these skills today?
What I do is it's all mental. I think I said to mention this on the panel that I did. For me, everything is mental. All the coaches I
Yep.
played for, you have to be kind of mentally tough. I kind of have tunnel vision when I want to do something. I don't let outside noise bother me.
Hmm.
I kind of focus in on what I want to do, and I
Yep.
just keep going and keep plugging and keep plugging. I did learn over the years that some no's are a blessing,
Hmm.
and I think once I learned that, when I got no from some people, or rejected from some people, or a company would say no, we're not interested, I wouldn't take it as personal, because I know, okay, that might not be the situation for me. There might be a better situation, and 9 times out of 10, more than likely, that's what happened. That company
Hmm.
said no, but then later on, 2, 3 months later, I meet with, say, for instance, Coca-Cola Florida, and then now they have a bigger budget, and now
Yep.
I'm dealing with somebody on a much bigger scale that's willing to
Yep.
help me and like what I do. So those are some things. The hard work, getting up early, being there. If you own, I feel like if you own a business, you should be there first. You should be
Hmm.
the last to leave, because your workers kind of, they see that example and they'll follow suit, and kind of take on that same type of attitude.
Yep.
I think that's key. That's very important. And then also you learn leadership skills, playing with guys like Reggie Miller, Alonzo Mourning, Mark Jackson, Dale Davis, the list goes on. You study these guys, you seeing how they lead and how they kind of, get guys to follow them. So you kind of take on those same skills, with the students at the school. I take it on with
Yep.
the students that I have at on the Hoop Dreams, where we do the Hoop Dreams program. And also, I'll take it on with the Pogoman pop-up clinics on the same type dedication, same type focus, trying to, let these kids know that, this is for development, getting you better. It's all about getting better. And then the
Hmm.
rest will kind of take care of itself.
That makes sense. Now, obviously, we talked about it, you're actively, involved in giving back to the community,
Yeah,
including
yeah,
inspiring kids at events like the Camp Hoop Heroes, and through your own current Pogoman pop-up clinics, right? So, what is
yeah.
the core mission of the camp clinics that you are doing now? And what are the two most important life lessons you try to instill in young athletes beyond just basketball fundamentals? Because look, at the end of the day, all those kids are not going to make it to the NBA. They're not going to be pro,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
but they got to keep going. They got to start somewhere,
yeah,
but they have to
yeah,
also know there's only what, I think 100, well, I think it's more like I think 400 NBA players now. 100 of
yeah,
them come from Europe, which is even harder now because you got the
yeah.
guys from Europe coming in. So
Yeah.
what is your, I guess, the most important life lessons you try to instill to the young
Uh,
kids?
I try to teach them hard work, never giving up. I try to teach them how to work with others. This is what we try to teach. It's 5 guys out there. You have to kind of work as one unit. I
Yeah.
think these days with AAU and the social media, everybody wants clicks and everybody wants to highlight
Hmm.
reel and individual play. But for me, it's more about if you can play well with others. A lot of the great players, Magic Johnson,
Hmm.
Michael Jordan, when he got Phil Jackson, he started trusting other teammates. You can even see it in his documentary Last Dance. When he first got in the league, it was
Yeah.
all one-on-one, Michael, Michael, Michael. Phil
Yep.
Jackson was like, hey, you have to, defense is easy for the defense to guard that. You gotta move to get the ball moving a little bit more. We got all these other
Yep.
players that have different talents that can help it make the game easier for you. So I try to teach that. I try to teach them how to just completely just work hard. You don't have to work hard at everything you do. And I try to teach them how to work well with others because you're gonna have to do it on a job. You're gonna have to do it if you own a business. You're gonna have to be able to work with other people. And if you
Yep.
get a group of people that work well together,
Hmm.
that's a stronger. You're gonna have a stronger foundation than just having one person being that guy.
100%. And like you said early on, right? You've got all those AU teams and coaches. They
Yep.
make you believe, I feel like you all got a chance. If you do this, you're going to make it. The
Yep.
reality is not. It's not going to, it's not.
Yep.
So, you want to be honest, I think, with young athletes, because,
Yeah, you have to. I think I do. I'm very, very honest with them. But at least I tell them at least if you're gonna, go out and try to play ball, at least try to be some type of important piece to your team. Like if you can't
yeah,
score, you can always get rebounds, you can always play defense, you can always be a good screener, you can always run the floor to get easy baskets for your team. So there's other things that you can do. Say you're trying to make it or a lot of these guys just want to be on their high school team. I get a lot of players like that. They just want to make their high school team, just to have that memory and be a part of a team some kind of way. So, I tell them, hey, I see their skill set. I be honest with them and let them know, hey, this is what you do well. Try
hmm,
to do this, but also work on other things. But these are the things you do well. So you need to do
yeah,
these things every day consistently. The coach need to see you doing this every day. And trust me, he'll see you getting better at the other things. And if you
yeah,
get better, then now you might have a better chance at making a team and actually playing on the team. A lot of these guys that I train, they're not NBA players. That's why I do what I do. Because
yeah,
most of those younger players are already on AAU teams. Their path is already kind of set, but there's a group of kids out there that are maybe not that good or maybe not there yet, but people give up on them. So now what do you do? So I'll be like, hey, come over here. We'll teach you some skills. We'll
yeah.
get you better. I'll see what you can do. We'll work on that, but also work on these things so that you can be a well-rounded player, and then you can at least help a team. When the team you're trying to make.
I think I liked your point earlier and a great point about, well, also the attitude, right? You can
Yeah,
help in different ways. I remember the head coach of the UConn women's
yeah,
team, right? Basketball
yeah,
team. He said, if I see a player sitting on the bench and like, because he's not playing, he's all down, doesn't care about anything else, like, I don't want that guy on the team,
yeah,
because if you have to be able to support your team, even though you're not playing.
yeah,
But for some guys, it's hard to do that because they want to be
yeah.
playing, right?
Yeah, it's tough. You have to have that mindset. I think the Miami Heat does that very well. They keep veterans around. I think that's the problem with the NBA now. I think it's a little bit too young. Because when I came in, I learned from veterans. I
Yeah,
learned from a guy, Keith Askins. I didn't learn from Zoe and all these guys. The first
sure.
guy that taught me about being a professional, especially down here in Miami, was a guy by the name of Keith Askins, who works for the Heat now in the
Hmm.
scouting department. But
Yeah.
he wasn't a star player, but he was a leader. He was a guy that was always first, always last to lead the gym.
Hmm.
He always had great advice for me. He worked hard every day, and
Hmm.
he was always ready when his number was called on the bench. So when you're seeing that, you kind of take that same type of attitude, and
Yeah.
you apply it to yourself, and the next thing you know, you're having success as well.
And I
Yeah,
think that you've seen that with the Miami Heat, but also with teams like the Spurs, for example, right? They got
yeah,
Tim Duncan,
yeah,
Ginobili, Tony
yeah,
Parker, who mentor the young guys like Wemby and
yeah,
other guys,
yeah.
and that what makes them so successful too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Veteran leadership, guys that's been there before, and they're passing that same knowledge down. That's what keeps the culture going. That's why the Spurs are as good as they are now. The Heat is a lot of teams do that. They have a lot of guys that you see now. The New York Knicks,
Yeah.
They show the games. They got Spreewell there. They got Larry Johnson there. They got John Starks there. A lot of the older players they're bringing back.
Mhm.
And they're giving these younger guys that type of culture. And
Uh,
that type of inspiration to kind of carry on that same type of knowledge and that same type of attitude. For winning.
well, team culture is so important these days, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's not just the skills, but the team culture. If you have no team culture, you're not
Yeah.
going to be that successful, right?
No.
So last question I want to ask you is, obviously you majored in sports management
Mhm.
while at Temple University, but how has that academic background informed decisions you've made in your post-playing career? And where do you see yourself focusing your energy the next 5 years, coaching, community, outreach, or even new ventures?
Yeah. I think that it plays a part in everything I do. Like I told you, once you play sports, you don't forget it. I can't go a day without working out.
Yeah,
So that plays into it. The leadership skills I got from other people, I try to hand that down to a lot of the younger coaches. I have younger coaches that work with me at Hoop Dreams. I
yeah,
give them advice. I'll do the same with the same couple of the same people that come with me to the Pogoman pop-up clinics. I'll give that same advice. What I'm doing now in the future is what I'm trying to do is build the Pogoman LLC. I had the
mhm,
501c3 Pogoman 30, and I'm going to do the Pogoman Foundation. And what
yeah,
we're going to do is we're going to do education, which we're going to start giving out scholarships to unfortunate kids that have straight A's at day prep.
yeah,
Since I'm a part of day prep, I'm going to takes a portion of money to give out free scholarships for kids to go to day college.
yeah,
That's going to be the education piece. The sports piece will be the pop-up clinics,
hmm.
and then I'm going to eventually start working with Feeding South Florida, and that'll be the nutrition piece.
Oh,
As
interesting.
you know, groceries are like crazy these days. There's an organization down here in Florida that gives out free groceries to people.
Really?
So I saw something on the news where they're looking for people to donate and give back and make it easier for them to get the food in for free. And then so I'm going to I already put in a call, had one call with them. They're kind of excited about it. Like I told you, all of this is going to start up in around January,
Yeah,
February, somewhere in there. I'm getting the business aspect of it down first. But yeah, I want to cover the future. I'm going to do education, which is giving
yeah.
kids scholarships, sports through the Pogo Man pop-up clinics, and then we're going to do nutrition through Feeding South Florida. Yeah,
Well, that's great.
that's my mission. Yeah.
It's great. Well, power to you. So any teams or potential sponsors that want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
They can reach me at Mark Strickland. That's MarkStrickland 404 at gmail.com. If you want to reach out, just shoot me an email. I always respond to my emails. It would be great. We're trying to get as many sponsors as we can. Right now, we
Yeah.
have Dick's Sporting Goods, we have Raising Cane's, we have Nike, and we have Coca-Cola Florida. We're working with this beverage company that I can't really disclose right now because it's new. They're trying to do the vitamin water thing, but
Okay.
pretty good product though. Pretty good product. I think we're going to work with them. I'm also going to be doing merchandise with the Pogo Man pop-up t-shirts,
Hmm.
so people can that's self-promoting and that's
Yep.
promoting the brand. So yeah, reach out to me email me. I'll be great to talk. I always respond to my emails. If I don't, I'll have Kelly do it, but you will get a response back. And we're looking for all type of sponsorships. The more sponsorships, the better, and the more kids that we can reach out to and touch.
Yeah, that's great. Well, all power to you. So thank you for your time today. And I'm sure
Thank
you
you.
out. So thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Tell your son I say hello.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
All right. All right.
Thank you for listening. To access past episodes and other research, articles, and analysis of sports technology, please visit our website, theupside.us. Subscribe to the Upside newsletter and receive full access to our sports tech business letter and website. Royalty-free music is provided by ibaudio.com. The Upside podcast provides timely insights and interviews with global leaders in sports technology. Until next time, keep looking to the upside.